Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
Text messages at the center of the Mel Tucker legal case at Michigan State will remain under a court order for now. An Ingham County judge making that call today.
As an investigation into Tucker's behavior finds he sexually harassed the woman who complained to the university about his behavior. Mara McDonald is live downtown tonight. Mara, Tucker's attorneys say he will appeal the decision.
That's right, Kimberly. They are saying that report is incomplete. They are saying there are lots of factual errors there. Let me show you. Key to whatever plays out here are text messages on the cell phone of a friend of Brenda Tracy. She's the woman making the accusations against Mel Tucker. That friend has since died. Tucker's attorneys have the phone and the messages, but for now, they'll remain under wraps until the whole issue likely heads to trial.
It is very clear to this court that the status quo must be preserved for each party until there's a trial in the merits.
Tucker's attorneys maintain those messages show Brenda Tracy was out to get the now former coach. Tracy doesn't want them out, claiming there is sensitive info on there pertaining to others. Within the last 24 hours, a 73-page report into allegations Tracy made of Tucker's inappropriate behavior, including unwanted sexual advances, was found to be true. The report concludes Tucker sexually harassed her and violated university policies. Back here live now, the former coach has not filed suit against Michigan State. However, his attorneys have made it perfectly clear that is the plan, and he intends on going after some $80 million that's left on his contract. We're live in Midtown. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
Okay, Mara, thank you. A manhunt continues in Maine for the alleged gunman in a deadly mass shooting.
Police say the 40-year-old man opened fire in 2 locations last night, and right now the death toll stands at 18, with more than a dozen people hurt. A shelter-in-place order remains in effect after the deadliest U.S. mass shooting since the school massacre in Uvalde, Texas.
I suggest that you go. We have an active shooter, and we're not sure where he's at.
A tight-knit community on edge. A shelter-in-place ordered in a number of towns in Maine as heavily armed officers search for what they say is an armed and dangerous killer.
There is now arrest warrants for murder for this particular individual, Mr. Card. So he is viewed as a suspect, and there is a full court press by all of our partners to bring him into custody.
Police advise that Maine people should not approach him under any circumstances.
Chilling surveillance images have been released showing the moments the mass shooting suspect's deadly rampage began. First at a local bowling alley hosting a youth night for a kids' bowling league. Then traveling about 4 miles to the second scene at a restaurant.
A place to go have a good time and have fun. And then we get somebody that's crazy like that walk in and do what they did, you know.
I never thought I'd grow up and get a bullet in my leg. Like, why do people do this?
According to law enforcement, the suspect, 40-year-old Rob Card, a military-trained arms instructor, suffering from several mental health issues, including hearing voices, making threats to shoot up a National Guard base. In fact, he had been committed to a mental health facility over the summer.
Nerves are rattled right now.
Got it.
Well, it's impossible to ever be fully prepared for a disaster or mass casualty event.
But we wanted to bring in our crime and safety expert, Darnell Blackburn, to break down some of the simple steps that we can take to try to keep our families safe if the worst were to happen. Darnell, first off, I just want to point out, we've got a very unusual situation here. We don't usually, I was just telling Kimberly, we don't usually see a mass shooting search for a suspect go on this long, right? This is unusual to have all these people still under such fear.
It's very unusual, Devin, and it's unusual for the mass shooting to occur in 2 different places like that.
Right.
You know, it's something that doesn't typically happen, but, you know, the issue is unfortunately not an if it'll happen, it's more of a when. And, you know, we don't want to alarm the viewers, but we have to be prepared for these types of situations and just be mindful that they could occur. So this is very, very disheartening on all levels.
So give us some tips. I mean, you know, what can you do? You can't really prepare yourself in a situation like this, or can you? Are there things that we need to be thinking about?
Yeah, there are some things, Kimberly. Mentally, you have to really just, talk to your family about these types of things. Talk about knowing where the exits are, sitting where the exits are in the building. Unfortunately, that's the type of thing that we have to think about. Have a plan or a route. And, when you're sitting near those exits, if you got to get out quick, you need to make sure that you're in a place where you guys can meet up or find a central location if you get separated.
In fact, I know that's a piece of advice you have as well. You have to have this plan of communication, how and when you're going to connect and where your family can get together again to have everybody on the same page.
Yeah, it's just something that's essential. And again, unfortunately, we have to talk about these types of things because, as we know, we've seen it happen here with Oxford and MSU. It can happen anywhere, and it's something that we just always have to think about.
Okay. All right, our crime and safety expert, Darnell Blackburn, giving us those tips. Hopefully we don't ever have to use them.
Yeah, but talk it out so that it's there. Yeah, exactly. All right, Darnell. Ahead here at 6:30 on NBC Nightly News, Lester Holt is going to anchor a special edition of NBC Nightly News from Lewiston, Maine. He's with a father who shares what he knows about how his son died. That's at 6:30. Well, over the next couple of weeks, the United Auto Workers are going to go about the business of a ratification vote on the tentative agreement with Ford.
Ford will look to return to production as quickly as possible, but it could take weeks. And tonight, Local 4 business editor Rod Maloney is here to tell us what auto analysts are saying about this agreement. Rod, it sounds like they're not as happy as the rank and file, are they?
Oh, no doubt about that. Ford admitting tonight that it's about $1.3 billion a year in added costs for this new contract. And a lot of the analysts are looking at this saying, well, they're going to have to get that money from somewhere. So you either get more efficient in terms of designing vehicles or you bring the prices down. Actually, you bring the prices up, but the prices are actually coming down now. Very tall orders, but there's an even larger concern they have tonight.
UAW President Shawn Fain's epic battle with Detroit's automakers is yielding what he demanded.
On day 40 of the stand-up strike, we reached a historic agreement.
And the rank and file like Carl Hoops here seemed quite happy.
You got to aim high, like for everything else, and I think what they came to now is pretty good.
Yet Fain's squeezing the companies for billions is, in reality, a short-term bargain. Long-term, experts say, it will lead to pain and fewer jobs. Wayne State University business professor Dr. Merrick Masters says it weakens the domestic three.
Well, I think the challenges facing them all are going to be steep, and restructuring in the industry is possible.
Here's why. Alex and Partners' analysis of all-in auto industry hourly labor costs looks like this. Non-union Tesla pays workers $45 an hour all in. Transplants like Toyota and Honda pay roughly $58 an hour, and under the expired contract, the domestic three pay $65 an hour all in. Dr. Masters estimates the Ford deal will increase the domestic three hourly rate to between $70 and $75, leading him to recall the late FCA CEO Sergio Marchionne's desire to make the domestic two.
Well, I know that Sergio Marchionne felt that they should have restructuring in the industry to make it more efficient and wanted to combine the former FCA with General Motors. I wouldn't be surprised to see something like that surface again in the near future.
Now, before that can happen, or before there's any discussion of something on that scale, they have to get tentative agreements with GM and Stellantis. We're told that those talks are ongoing. We're certainly going to be monitoring to see where they're headed. Back to you.
Yeah, so right, it really begs the question why Shawn Fain's strategy would include a deal that could lead to fewer jobs.
Well, Shawn Fain made it abundantly clear that he represents his membership. And one of the things he said to Ford was that he intends to take this contract and try and go to the transplant plants, go to Toyota, Honda, BMW, and also to Tesla and represent those workers using this contract. A couple of the analysts, one of the analysts I talked to today said the chances of that happening, especially at Tesla, are about the same as me starting for the Lions come Monday night.
Okay. Rod, we appreciate your report this evening. A 71-year-old man with dementia who wandered off from his home is back with his family tonight thanks to the Hamburg Township Public Safety drone team. They used the technology to spot the missing man from the sky. He was found in a nearby swampy area next to a lake. We're told he was cold but otherwise in good health.
Some good news for Sterling Heights residents. According to newly released FBI crime statistics, it is once again the safest big city in Michigan. Sterling Heights recorded the lowest violent crime rate among all Michigan communities with more than 100,000 people at 254 total violent crimes for 2022. 17% lower than Dearborn, 41% lower than Ann Arbor, 161% lower than Warren. Police credit some of the success to the expansion of outreach programs.
Would have been nice to see a little more sun today, but
we seem to have a difference of opinion here among
true.
who actually saw sun and who didn't. I didn't get any messages, Kim, after you solicited them the last hour.
Okay, but Damon and Karen said they both saw sun today.
I can't
they really
speak
did
for
not. Bert. Bert saw sun.
Bert's nodding his head.
Bert?
Floor Director Bert saw
Wow,
sun.
you think you know a guy and he takes you out.
Upper 60s right now in Port Huron. We all had warmth today. 72 downtown, 71 right now out at Metro Airport. It is 10 degrees warmer right now than it was just 24 hours ago in Pontiac, 11 degrees warmer in Howell. But we do have to talk about some rain that will be returning overnight tonight. It's pouring like crazy up north right now from Alpino, stretching all the way down to Grand Rapids, and eventually we'll get a few showers here in Metro Detroit. You're fine for the evening hours if you want to eat outside and enjoy this nice weather, maybe take a walk, but you can see just some showers back in Kalamazoo. It'll take a little while, but they'll get here by about 8 o'clock tonight. Tomorrow, we might start with a sprinkle, much like we did today, but then we'll see a little bit of sunshine. At least some of us will see some sunshine tomorrow. Temperatures in the afternoon will be in the mid-70s, and that's it. After tomorrow, the temperature trend is not in our favor at all. 75 tomorrow, 62 Saturday, but then look what happens next week. These are not the lows. These are the high temperatures. Lows will be in the 20s, and we could see the first flakes of the season. We have to talk about it coming up.